Right now, there's a narrative being pushed that you guys are all screwed. You're 21 years old. You got 2 rental properties. You heard me right, 2 rental properties. What the hell, Luca?
I didn't really look at it, didn't break it down. I just straight in, head first.
I'm lost for words.
As young as I can remember, I always just wanted to work. I started working at Macca's at the time, started washing dishes in an Italian restaurant for cash.
So you're making bank as a little kid.
Oh yeah, bit of pocket money, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out why. Why weren't you the kid that just sat down and went, I don't need to?
If I've been dealt a good hand, why not take the most of that opportunity?
Can we open up a little bit more about that first purchase?
I never was planning property, but then like the 8th wonder of the world come in, which is compound interest. Purchased it for $595,500.
This one is renting out for how much?
$21.45 a week.
You know that's nuts, right?
Yeah.
You've accomplished so much by the age of like 13, 14. I want to interview your mum and dad.
The stories that he's shared with me from his upbringing has shaped the way that I view every opportunity.
I wanted to talk more about how you're like 50 years old in your head, but 21 years old on the outside, mate.
No one's ever going to say, hey, I wish I went out clubbing more.
And so I've got to ask the question, mum and dad give you money for the deposit?
I'll be completely honest, it was probably...
So if you've been thinking it's too late to start a portfolio or I'm too young to get into property now, you're going to enjoy this episode. My name's Todd Sloan. This is the Pizza and Property Podcast. This episode is powered by Investor Kit, Property Developer Network, and Property Strats. More about our amazing show sponsors in the show notes below. But right now, let's jump into this chat with a 21-year-old who is supercharging cash flow and building a portfolio from scratch, Luca Surman. Luca Surman, how you going, man?
I'm good, Todd. Yourself?
Man, very good. Very excited to talk to you because I've even referenced chatting to you on a different episode just recently. You're 21 years old. You got 2 rental properties, grossing like 3 a week, 3, 4 a week?
3.5, yeah.
$3,500 a week. And you heard me right, 2 rental properties. We're going to start unpacking all of that. Okay, but before we do, I want you to take me back to an 8-year-old boy selling pumpkins on the side of the road. What the hell, Luca?
Like... Yeah. So back when about 8 years old, neighbor next door had a pumpkin, like a farm, had pumpkins grown on the farm, and I think he had this oversupply of pumpkins. He's like, you want to got all these pumpkins? And I said, I'll put a trestle table out the front of the main street and sell the pumpkins. So 8-year-old me got all the other girls from down the end of the street, a little bit older than me. I strapped the bum bag on with all the change in there. Out we went, the old street posts and putting the signs up on there.
Like sort of taping it to like the Stobie pole, that sort of thing.
That's right, yeah. And then off we were on a Saturday morning selling pumpkins. I think anywhere the cheapest one would have been like $1 back then, and up to like $4 or $5 for a pumpkin, and then probably sell about 40 of those on a Saturday, and then
40.
40. Yeah.
40.
Right. Yeah, and then, in exchange for like a bottle of red that Dad would get for the neighbour next door, yeah.
So you're making bank as a little kid.
Like, oh, yeah, bit of pocket money, yeah.
Yeah, like $50, $100 a week when you're 8 years old, you may as well be a billionaire. I got to ask, why though? Like most 8-year-olds, and it's 8 years old, you're so young, you're not even really fully grasping the concept of money. Is this something that mum and dad were kind of pushing on you at a younger age, or did you just have this interest in it? How did it sort of start?
I think a bit later on they did have a bit more influence on it, but it was just more, I don't know, it was kind of just like shiny object where it was I was a little bit driven by it, and it was hey, I can go and get, and then this money, and then I can exchange it for something else and use it and spend it. I wasn't always minded of investing and putting it away, but it was hey, this $50, $100 now can go and do something with it, can go and buy something.
And so did you come from a sort of middle class, poorer, upper class? What would you sort of...
I would say very well off, parents are doing quite well for themselves, but I just had that drive in me to sort of just go out and start early, I guess, yeah.
And so you were sort of seeing mum and dad working hard then, I'm guessing. It's
yeah, for sure. Especially dad from a young age would drill it into us of being you get out what you put in, about managing money as we got a little bit older, and putting it away in the savings account and things like that, and just in term deposits and stuff like that. I think a big part of it was the education that I was lucky enough to have from such a young age from my parents, which did play a part in it.
And tell me about that as far as the age of the education, because you said it's starting off, it's incredible that you're selling pumpkins on the side of the road, but you're saying it's not you had this trigger of I want to start saving all that money as a kid. It was more hey, I want to buy things, I want to have fun with it. When did that education really come in from dad? Was that more teenage years, later in life?
Yeah, look, I think different parts of it trickled throughout, I guess, the timeline. The drive younger was to go out as young young as I can remember, I always just wanted to work. You know, I still remember sitting on like the bus going to, especially early years of high school, seeing other people going out to work for money. I was like, oh, I just wish I could go out and, you know, earn some money, because I would just, at that stage, I would just spend it on different things. Like bought my first, had like a little boat at 12, 13 years old.
I was going to say, you're talking about a boat tinny, not like a 6-pack of tinnies.
No, not that young, but yeah, I did like, you know, like fishing and outdoors camping. So all my money sort of thing that I was just spent on like that outdoor sort of lifestyle.
I'm trying to figure out why, because like I was actually kind of similar. I still remember like knocking on the neighbors' doors, mowing lawns, things like that. But I grew up pretty poor, not like completely dirt poor, but you're an even more of a shining example, because it's like my story kind of makes sense. It's like, oh, okay, so you didn't have it, you wanted it, you worked for it. Whereas like you're coming from, by the sounds of things, pretty good family home. Mum and dad are doing well. Why weren't you the kid that just sat down and went, I don't need to?
The way I look at it is, if I've been put in a better opportunity, why not make the most of it?
I like that.
Yeah. A lot of people, like, you know, people who have had tough upbringings, like they're starting a step behind. And, you know, I really feel for a lot of those people. My father was the same, you know, come from pretty much nothing. You know, he told me those stories from such a young age, packing show bags at 12 years old and going out working to help provide for the family. And for me, not having to do that, what if I did all of that in a good position, how much further I could excel? If I've been dealt a good hand, why not take the most of that opportunity to see the most that I can get out of it?
If I was to ask you, when did you start thinking this way? Is it so far back that you can't remember? Like, is this just always how you've been, or can you actually remember like a point?
For that sort of thinking, a little bit younger, but it really, really clicked. There was one moment, I was in Schoolies actually on Fraser Island.
Okay.
Sitting on the west side of Fraser Island, 4-wheel drive there, jet ski. You know, all my mates had all their utes as well. Like I was the guy that, you know, I had the jet ski and we had all the toys there. And, you know, I was sitting there and I was, you know, having a beer, and I was just thinking, I didn't have a whole lot of money in the bank at the time. I was just like, I can't keep affording this lifestyle and trying to get ahead. Like it was just a constant earn money, spend it,
money.
boat fuel, 4B fuel, all the toys, everything like that. And each time you got a bit more money, you'd go and buy a new boat or an upgrade boat. So and then I got a jet ski, and then it was just like, if I channeled all of this hard work energy and just put it away and just started compounding it, I would be able to get a lot further and eventually one day afford the lifestyle that I wanted and was living at such a young age.
Just in case you're listening right now thinking, I'm about to listen to the story of this kid that was just handed everything, because the list of toys that you're talking about are not cheap toys, and the age you're saying you were having an aha moment of Schoolies. I remember chasing skirt at Schoolies, not being enlightened on like what I should do with myself financially.
Yeah.
So we're about to start unpacking a little bit more of how Luca actually earned so much money, because there is a lot more to that story in a very positive way. But so mate, you're basically sitting there going, okay, it can't keep continuing this way, because if it does, it's just going to keep coming in, keep going out. It's fun, but it's not sustainable. And this is a moment in, I'm assuming you're what, 17, 18?
18, yeah.
18.
Yeah.
18.
So yeah, a month after that, just sold all the toys, listed everything on Marketplace, and just a month later just sold it all. Ended up getting a, you know, 2001 Toyota Yaris that was bright red with no aircon, and went from that, from like, you know, probably close to $30,000 ute, the jet ski and everything like that. So like, I think I ended up with like 40K cash after selling everything. It's like, hey, now I've got this. Let's set the targets to how we can go and buy the first property.
And why property? Why not ETFs? Why not silver? Why not gold? Why property?
My father, he bought his first property quite young, 18, 19 years old. My parents sort of liked property, and then I just sort of went that path. I never was planning property, but then like the eighth wonder of the world come in, which is compound interest and leverage. And so that sort of enlightened me to keep going down that journey.
You put those two together, they're very powerful.
Very powerful, yeah.
And so I've got to ask the question, Mum and Dad give you money for the deposit?
I saved up just over 100,000 cash for the first one, and then popped that towards the first, like the 5-bedroom townhouse that I got as well. So yeah, savings right from the pumpkin days, but sort of spending it
on toys that whilst they weren't investments, you could still sell them.
That's exactly right. Yeah, like I had a little bit in saving, not like a crazy amount at all, but yeah, and then at 12 started washing dishes in an Italian restaurant for cash. You know, you're not meant to really work, I think, till you're 14, 9 months, but you know, why not? Cash money.
Let's not name the restaurant then.
No, and yeah, but like I can still remember the excitement on the first time I got a pay slip that had $100 note in it, and seeing that green thing just look at me, and I was like, oh, how good's this?
And look, this is something that I'm going to open up with you in more detail, and how you actually took that starting such a young age, and not just the pumpkin, like you said, washing dishes, but then around the, I'm going to say hospitality and food side of things, what you did. But can we open up a little bit more about that first purchase, that 5-bedroom townhouse? Tell me what, tell me where, tell me why.
I'll be completely honest. It was probably more of an impulse purchase.
Impulse purchase a townhouse?
Yeah, like
Okay.
just prior to that, I was actually looking at buying a mattress shop.
Sorry, back up a sec. What?
I was looking at buying, like I was working in bedding at the time, selling mattresses.
Okay.
And a franchise opportunity come up, like
Okay.
an hour south of where I live. And, you know, we did all the due diligence and stuff. I got like my mentor to have a look. And anyway, the numbers didn't stack up. Like we had, you know, pretty much bank loans approved, ready to go.
So you're like seriously looking at it, not just like...
Proper looking at it. Like, the numbers just didn't stack up. And so I was like, no, not doing this. Yeah. So that's why I was like half saving for that house deposit. But then this come up. So I kind of, you know, went down that rabbit hole and come straight back out. And then my girlfriend's grandma actually sent me the property on realestate.com and was like, hey, my neighbor saw this. It would be an absolute cash cow. And I was like, And the only reason I went and had a look at it, because I was working, like I worked all weekends, you know, a year and a half plus straight all weekends. So I couldn't go out to opens, but it was open at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning. I didn't start work till 10. So my girlfriend, let's go and have a look. And then went in and I was like, wow. Like I saw the bedrooms and, you know, it's not the property that I go and live in and raise a family in, but it was like this close proximity to the university. It's located in Lambton.
In Newcastle?
In Newcastle, 15 minutes to the CBD. Purchased it for $595,500.
What year?
September 23.
And what do you reckon it'd be worth now?
Close to 710, 720.
710, 720? Okay.
So it's not crazy growth. Like it's not like, hey, I pumped that into Perth, or for example, and that one there rents for just under $1,400 a week.
Now there's the kicker. So $1,400 a week. You're obviously talking rooming house, because that is not a normal yield.
Yeah, that's right.
Why rooming house as well? Because now you've gone from basically, I'm getting into property. I'm going to start with a more advanced kind of strategy that there's more management, everything's involved. Why are you just seeing cash or?
Yeah, look, I was looking like growth factors still come into it, but I was like that same property would rent for half of that per week. And if I can put in 2 hours of effort a week into it and I can make a significant amount of money back from it, why not take that avenue?
So you're just looking at this purely logically. Like, talk to me about doubt, because I feel like not just your age, but just people in general. That's usually the thing of like, oh, but what if this happens? Oh, but what if that goes wrong? How are you managing those feelings? Or are they just not happening for you?
I mean, like I looked at it and I was like, if for some reason it didn't work, I could still afford the loan repayments. And even for some reason, if it didn't, I would work my ass off to make sure that I could. So I was like, you know, I didn't really look at it, didn't break it down. The more if you broke it down and sat in front of it for like a week, you'd probably be like, there's risk. And I just like straight in, head first. Let's give it a go. I bought it, went and looked at it, bought it, and a couple days later, and was just like, we're doing it. It's happening.
What would you do different if you're going to do it again?
Get cleaners straight away.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a big issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How so? I feel like there's a story behind that.
So both the places, like all girls.
Yep.
It's great. They take
purposely, or that just happened?
It just happened from the start and then it just went from there. But when you have 5 people living in a place and you say, hey, you're going to do this cleaning this week, you're going to do it the next week. And someone's like, well, I'm sick. I've got a uni exam. I've got to work. And it really never gets done. You can write a list and you're never going to know that it gets done. And for the price that it is to get it clean, like I put the rents up, everyone was happy. We all agreed on getting a cleaner. And then they were like, hey, we're going to pay the extra $20 a week. We're going to get a cleaner. $20 each person.
Everyone's stoked.
Everyone was stoked. And I was happy. I was like, hey, we're getting the place cleaned every week. And it's really not costing me any more money than it did last week.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're really not a guy that hesitates, are you?
No. If I like look at something and like really open up, and then, you know, you can do, you know, there's plenty of decisions that you need to fully unpack. I was just get straight into it.
I love it, man. Like I said before, there's probably a lot of people wondering how a teenager got so much cash to do all of this, because you're talking about this purchase as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old?
19, yeah.
19-year-old. Okay, and you've saved up the whole deposit yourself. You got $100,000 putting in. Like you're making moves, man. Talk to me about the progression to the food truck. Yes. Yeah.
After working in kitchens at 12, I like fell in for the love of like hospitality. At 12, 13, 14 years old, you can't really like go and be a cook for example, or like a juniorship. Like you can go and get an apprenticeship and do that route, but you can't work part-time casual and cook people food. No, the career progression isn't there that quick. And I was like, hey, I want to cook people food. I like managing people, like managing money. I started working at Macca's at the time and I was like, yeah, this is all right, but I want to do something for myself. A little back step from that was I was 12 years old. Parents were renovating the house.
Like the family home?
Family home, yep.
Okay.
Yep. I was watching the show Tiny Homes. I was like, I want one of these.
How old again?
I was 12.
12.
I was like, but I don't have a car. So let's tow it behind the bike. The push bike.
How strong are your legs, dude?
Yeah, so not like a huge giant one. And then so I had my good mate over.
Yeah.
We started, just with the drill, hammer, nails, some timber, leftover like building materials, plywood and stuff like that from the renovations. I was like, hey, Dad, can I use this? Can I use this? Can I use this? Yep, sure. So we're, probably should have been helping out with, doing a bit of renovations of the house, but I always found a way to get out of that as well. I hate painting and all that sort of stuff. So
you're not the hands-on guy?
No, I like to say that I can do a bit. My mum's probably listening to this, like absolutely laughing as well. Like a lot of the things that like take super precision, I just can't do that.
You got to know your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, so if you saw this thing at the start, it was like a little bit
modeled on Pisa.
Yeah. So then I built that, and so it's this little caravan. It had like a tiny little bed in it, little sink, towed behind my bike. It was, enough that you could like crouch down in it, not fully stand at 12, but like crouch down in it.
You're not going to tell me you tried to rent it out, are you?
No. I didn't try and put it on Airbnb or anything like that as well. But I wanted to go camping when then Dad's like, you can't take it, just go and pull up anywhere. So we camped one night in like in the front yard with my mate over. So that was a bit of fun. I was like, hey, I'm never going to use this thing. And then the idea come with, what if I turned it into a food truck?
And where'd that come from? The same deal? Like you're watching telly one day, you're talking to a mate. Tell me about the moment.
I think it was just like the passion for food and wanting to just do it myself. I just wanted my own flexibility in terms of like when I'm going to work, I know what I'm doing. As opposed to like one of my pains with hospitality would be like you rock up to work and you don't know whether you're going to be, say, at Macca's, like on the griddle, on the fryer, or making the burgers. There's always like a good task that you want. And I wanted to like predetermine the task before I went to work.
I find that interesting because you're obviously a young man that lives by that. To me, I'm going to say almost that Jake Peralta mantra of eyes closed, head first, can't lose. Like, but then it sounds like stability is something that you also crave and value. How do they sort of meet with each other and actually give you what you're looking for? Because they seem like they're the opposite things.
I guess a bit, like both sort of sides, but it was like just also the excitement of like the adventure. Like it's like I kind of get, I wouldn't say hyperfixated, but it's close to hyperfixated on something when I think about it. It's like when I was looking to buy, the mattress shop or like buying the first house. I was like super hyperfixated, like this is what we're doing and we're doing it. So then the next weekend we've got the reciprocating saw cutting the side of this tiny house open to make way for like the food truck bit to open and close.
Yeah.
So that the roof could come up so we could actually stand in there. My poor mate who was a bit taller than me, he couldn't, unfortunately. Always complain when he worked. Oh, my head keeps hitting the thing.
Poor bloke.
Poor bloke, yeah. Yeah, so we cut open, painted it, and then it was time to actually, make it a real business. So I called up the local council and was like, hey, I want to sell food out of this piece of painted timber that tows behind my bike that I can stand in.
And what kind of food, out of interest?
At the time with this one, I was thinking I was going to do the whole Mexican thing that we'll touch on the next venture. But the guy come out, he looked at it. He's like, I can't let you cook meals out of this, but you can sell like packaged food and drinks, chips, lollies, chocolates out of it.
Like a canteen kind of thing.
Like a canteen. So I was like, great, this is awesome.
He basically walks up to this like Leaning Tower of Pisa structure with your mate in it that's looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You're standing there as like a 12-year-old boy going, hey, can we sell food out of this?
Yeah. Yeah, he's like standing in my front yard. My mum's up on like a work call, so I'm just like standing in the front yard. He's like looking through it, like inspecting it.
Does he think it's a joke or is he?
No, he was like, he saw like the passion and he was like, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a go. He like made sure that, my plan for some reason was putting carpet in it. He was like, you just can't put carpet in like a kitchen. So we fixed that up and he ticked up on it and then off we went.
Okay. Off you went selling packeted like chips, lollies, drinks.
Cans of drinks. I tried once up near the beach when the kiosk was closed in winter. Didn't do that good, but the local skate park was the cash cow.
Local skate park.
Yeah, so Swansea Skate Park would tow it down 2.5 kilometre ride on the bike.
How much does this thing weigh?
A couple 100 kilos. I would get dad or mum, whoever was available at the time, to take like the Eskies because the Eskies super heavy. I didn't want to carry the extra weight. So they'd meet me down there. Absolute best people ever. The most supportive parents you could ever ask for. But they would take it down there. Be a Saturday, both days of the weekend. Mum was just more like, I'm just happy that you're getting exercise riding this thing there and back. As more of like a, hey, you could go and do this. They were really supportive, and I just like I didn't want to be lonely. So I'd employ a mate to come and help me.
What'd you pay him?
It actually wasn't bad. I paid them more than what I was getting at Macca's at the time.
Okay, all right.
As well. So back then, maybe like $13 an hour. So we'd do that. We had like a little chalkboard where we'd write up the menu, and all the kids from the skate park would come over and just like buy chips and lollies and drink. It was great.
How much are you turning over per visit? What's your average? You're doing $50, $200?
I'd profit about $130.
Profit. Okay.
Yeah, which was more than what I would get at Macca's for the same amount of time.
And how much time are we talking again? Like you sitting there for an hour, 5 hours?
4 or 5 hours.
And so you were permitted, like you ticked all the boxes?
Like it was legit. Like it was like I was allowed to be there, which was like crazy to think how that worked. But I could legally sell food there, packaged food. Yeah.
Packaged food. Okay. Now, how long are you doing this for before we fast forward to another penny dropping and you're going, what if I kick this up a notch?
Yeah, so I was at the time, like I would work that during the day and then go to Macca's at night. Or like I was doing music tutoring. I was teaching like these young kids at the primary school. I used to play the saxophone.
Oh yeah, I used to play the clarinet.
Oh, nice. Yeah, awesome.
It's not. It's not a bragging instrument. At least the saxophone's got a bit of coolness.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I've said it on the show. I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, so I was still working, I think 3 or 4 jobs at once. I used to walk around school and these kids in younger years would walk past me. Mr. 4 Jobs, they would call me.
Mr. 4 Jobs.
Yeah, had like, always dipping my toes in different things. Probably did it a good part of a year, over a year, about towards I was probably 14 then. And then I was like, hey, I still have the vision of doing this Mexican food trailer.
And so you're not saving all this money yet because like you said, that sort of came a little bit later, or you're saving a bit?
Sort of saving a bit. Like at that time, I was still spending it a little bit, but because I sort of was with the food truck and working so much, I didn't have time to spend it. So that was the good thing, not giving yourself time and you won't spend the money.
I remember that on one of the very first like earlier episodes. We're going back way back, probably like episode 20 or so. We interviewed Chris Gray and he was actually talking about that when you retire and saying you think that you're going to need X dollars, but he's like, put a little bit more on top because that's what you're spending when you're working all the time. But as soon as you actually stop working, you're going to spend more money. And obviously the exact reverse applies as well. When you're doing Mr. 4 Jobs, you don't have time to spend a lot, do you?
No, like that's the thing. You keep busy and you're not spending on impulse purchases and things like that as well. So I started saving a bit. I think I put away maybe $11,000. So I was working like heavily at Macca's.
How many hours are you doing at Macca's on top of?
It would vary a lot. I would say at least 18.
Okay, so you're basically doing a full-time job and going to school.
Yeah.
You wagging school all the time? Or
No,
you
like
in?
I always used to go to school. I was always on time, unlike my sister, but always there, showed up.
But so you're just fitting it all in.
Fitting it all in, yeah. I'd fit in camping with working. I would go there, stay the night, wake up at 8 a.m, go work 8-10 hours at Macca's, and then come back out camping that night because it was only 5 minutes away.
I actually thought about this before. I want to interview your mum and dad. I don't know if that for this show, but this is just putting my selfish hat on. And there's potentially a whole lot of other new parents out there because Bianca and I now have Freddie. He's now 7 months old at the time of recording, almost 8 months old. He's just the coolest little dude ever. I want to know, what are the things that your parents taught you, the real lessons of unpacking it? Because, and we're not even halfway through your story yet. You've accomplished so much by the age of 13, 14. Mate, I'm lost for words, but let's keep going because I want to be able to be the parent that your dad and your mum have been to you, mate. You're an absolute star. So let's start talking about how then the food truck transformed into chips, lollies and drinks into actual food.
Yeah, so saved about $10,000, $11,000 and then I'm sitting in math class with a mate. We're just scrolling Gumtree.
I remember Gumtree.
Yeah, before Marketplace. And then I saw these, looking at food trailers. I was like, hey, these look cool. Anyway, bit of negotiating back and forth. I had like a business plan and stuff in place that I'd done previously, like a year ago. So I kind of had like steps outlined of, hey, this is the time we need to buy it. This is what we're going to do.
Who's teaching you that? Is that mum and dad, or is this you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because this is all pre-ChatGPT, like write me a business plan. Like,
I know, that would be so much easier. But spent hours on like laptop and just like on PowerPoint making a business plan. Like it was before even like electives at school where I could choose commerce and stuff like that. So this was like just dad being like, these are the steps on, what you've got to do. Had conversations back and forth with like a family friend of mine. I refer to him as a mentor. And it was only recently he said to me about the food trailer business that I'll unpack. But he said, I never thought that this was going to be what's going to make you 100,000, your first $1 million. But the lessons that it's going to teach you are absolutely invaluable.
So you've referred to a mentor a couple of times now. Who is this person? Where'd you meet him?
Yeah, so like just a family friend, like his kids went to same primary school. You see him down at the local soccer club on a Saturday morning. He used to play soccer with dad on a Friday night. Just a local guy, really nice, open guy. It's amazing how many people, if you actually find in your local network that have been quite successful, didn't really pick it as much as well. So he actually got me my first food trailer gig at the local soccer gala day.
So this is a guy that is a little bit more like, he's not driving around in Ferraris, like flashy.
No.
But you just kind of hear what from parents' conversations, like, hey, this is someone that's probably worth asking questions to.
Yeah, like he's done well in business. Mm-hmm. He'd be a good guy to chat about XYZ advice.
So he's saying that this isn't going to be the thing that's going to make you millions, but this is going to be the thing that's going to teach you the lessons to get you there.
That's right. And I think what I appreciated the most was he didn't tell 14-year-old Luca, hey, you shouldn't do this. This isn't going to work. He sat back and knew that the lessons were going to be invaluable. So he was just like, let's see how it plays out. And it's going to teach this kid a lot of things.
So very supportive, but there's still obviously a real element of realism to it. He's not just telling you sunshine and rainbows, but he's not dampening your spirits.
Yeah, that's right. Like the people that I used to work for in the restaurant, they were like, oh, you probably should wait till you're older. And once I was like fixated on the vision, it was just like people could say anything. I just want to keep pushing through it. It's like, I just want to do it. I just want to give it a go.
Man, I know we're on like quite a tight time frame today and I want to chat with you more, but if there's one thing before we're done today that I can give you as a little piece of advice, don't ever lose that. That is probably one of your most valuable assets from the little bit of time you and I have spent together. And I can say that from someone that I had it in my early 20s. Then I lost it until my early 30s and I got it back. But when you start listening to everyone else and when you stop that, let's just do it mindset, life is different and it's not as good. And this is something personally I can see in yourself. Protect that at all costs, man, because you're setting the world on fire, Luca. And I think that you're going to be doing more amazing things if we chat again in another 5-10 years and sit down. I want to leave you with that, even like mid-episode. Everything goes into protecting that, man, because that's a weapon of yours. Anyway, back on track. Side note, you're getting a food truck. You're not selling chips, lollies and Coke anymore?
No, so yeah, bought it in year 9 math class. Had to go out, miss, could I go out to the toilet? Take a call to this guy up in Kingscliff
and buy a food truck.
Texting dad back and forth. Mum's in Melbourne at the time. My auntie's like, don't do this, don't do it. He's got the HSC in 3 years, blah, blah, blah. That it's going to be a distraction. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, Mum, just please just let me do it. I've saved up this money. I really want to do it. And dad was like, yep, you know what, let's do it. That was probably Thursday. Friday afternoon that night, we're driving up to Kingscliff to go and buy this food trailer.
How much you pay?
7,000. Got it down from 10. I thought I was pretty good at negotiating back then.
Yeah, man. I don't really know what a food truck's worth, but it sounds like a good deal.
It was just like a trailer. So not like you drive it, like towed behind the car.
Yeah.
Enough to fit 2-3 people in it. Perfect size.
And you got like storage cupboards,
Storage.
burners,
Has 3 sinks. That's a regulation. You can have 3 sinks in a...
3 sinks?
Yeah.
Okay, wouldn't know that. All right, and so you're starting to cook food in it like straight away, or you're renovating this thing, or what's...
Yep. So like how we touched on before, that I'm not the best as a handyman. So I did have some... sister and mum helping me wipe everything down that night. We brought it back on the Saturday. I was like, those little bits of like rust spots and stuff. I was like, hey, let's clean it up. And, they were great help, awesome help. Couldn't do it without them.
Did your sister rock up on time for that?
I had to get out of bed at like 9 in the morning or something like that. I would have been out there at 6:30 as well. But yeah, the next step from that, got that back. I had to do a food safety supervisor course, which is like something that most people don't do until they're like a qualified chef to run a kitchen. So did on a line, did have like a sick day or two off school. So there may be the one time that I did take a little bit of time off school because I was like, I just want to get this course done. Did it, got the same guy to come out from the council. And I was like, hey, can I do it now? And he was like, yep. All good. Certificates come, and then off we went.
And off we went to where? Where's first stop?
First stop was the soccer gala day. So it was coming up towards the end of the season. They have like a gala day for all the younger years. Asked my mentor, hey, he was on like the soccer committee at the time. Can I take this food truck here? Yep, we got it there. And yeah, that was a hectic day. I did not expect the amount, like I prepped heaps of food, but I didn't expect to be so busy. It was probably one piece of advice I should have taken is don't do too much when it comes to like food business and menus.
So keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. So I learnt that after like that one event, which was great that I learnt that earlier rather than later. So that was good. Run off our feet, huge day. And then from there, I did a couple markets. Problem with that was inconsistency with, am I going to be serving 25 people today or am I going to be serving 60 people?
Got it,
and when you're running this while going to school, you can't keep the ingredients for the next day. So I pivoted to let's just do private events. If people's 40th, 50th, birthdays were probably the main thing.
Then you know how many people are rocking up.
That's right. Someone's messaged me. They said, hey, I need you to do 60 servings or 80 servings. The most I ever did was 200 actually, a function for the university, which is crazy. I walk there now as like, because I'm a student as well. Walk there now, it's like, hey, I was like 15 running a business just there. It's just like a bit surreal. But yeah, 200 servings. I was 15, had 5 staff members with me. That was a day in itself as well.
That's insane. Okay, and I can see what your mentor is now saying by this might not be the thing that makes you millions, but it's going to be the thing that really teaches you the lessons to get you to that.
Yeah.
So you're 15 years old. You're now turning over what roughly a year?
Turnover maybe 1,200 a week, 1,500 a week.
1,200, 1,500. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what are you profiting? You decent margin?
Yeah, decent margin. Like I was paying myself, bumped the staff up, then they were getting like $4 an hour over Macca's wage. So everyone was happy. I was like, if I need staff and reliable staff, you pay them a bit more. Always learn early, take care of your staff, buy them Powerades, cookies, all that sort of stuff as well.
I've got to ask, and we've probably touched on this a little bit already, but if there was one person or influence that if it was removed, you wouldn't be sitting here today, who would that person be or what would that influence be?
I think it'd have to be my parents, but if I had to choose one, it'd probably be my father. The stories that he's shared with me from his upbringing has shaped the way that I view every opportunity that I'm given now. I think it's shaped my work ethic and a lot how I sort of view the world in trying to take the most of every opportunity for myself.
I say this whenever I interview a younger person like yourself. And if you've got a story like Luca's as well, like leave a comment below, get in touch. Like, I don't think anyone's going to have a story like you, Luca, but like you're a younger guy or girl, I'd absolutely love to chat with you because I think right now there's a narrative being pushed that you guys are all screwed. Your generation's just, it's not going to happen. Can't even afford to buy a house. Here you are selling, like starting food trucks at 12 years old, going into actual like business by a 15-year-old, getting your first property by 19. And we're going to touch on a little bit more of the detail on the property side of things. Because just in case you're wondering, is this pizza and food trucks or pizza and property? We are getting to the property. But I just really wanted to fully set the stage of how you actually got there because it would be so easy to write you off as, oh yeah, well mum and dad just did that for him. It's like, no, mum and dad sounds like they gave you a ton of knowledge, ton of help, like taking the Eskies to the skate park, stuff like that. But they didn't just go, here's $250,000, go start a portfolio.
I think when they could see that I was building that work ethic and the more that I put in and tried, the more that they would help me. And that was sort of like they could see that I was going on the right path and they'd help educate me and just help keep pushing me towards the goals that I'm setting, and can't thank them enough for the opportunities and the support that they've given me throughout the years as well. I guess touching back on with the end of the food truck story is did that for 2 years. COVID happened, first lockdown, obviously shut up shop, keep doing Macca's at the time. Then I started working at my local RSL. That's like the place to work if you want good money.
Okay.
As well, like you could be 16 years old and you're on like $34 an hour base.
So even your staff are like, poof.
Yeah, the RSL, as well, like 44 on a Sunday at like 16. So
wow.
Did that, first lockdown happened, and then we went back, did a couple of functions, and then it was sort of like, hey, you do kind of have the HSC coming up very soon. Let's focus on that. You know, the next lockdown was around the corner.
Why are you not quitting school? And I don't want to talk anyone out of quitting or anyone into quitting school, but was there that part of you that's like, clearly I'm an entrepreneur? Or were you like, no, I want to go to uni. I want to do this?
Education, I still think, is a baseline. Like all the way up until year 12 is still essential. My mum and her side of the family are big believers in tertiary education. You know, now that I've pretty much nearly finished that, I do see the value in it. They wouldn't let me just go and, hey, drop out and start something. It's if you wanted to do that, you need to prove why this is a better route and how you're going to do it. So it was more prove it. Like I can't just go and drop out and say, hey, I'm running this food truck, because who's going to drive it for me when mum and dad are at work, and where am I going to get the business midweek?
Really want to talk to your parents. That makes total sense now that you put it that way. Talk to me about rental property number 2. So you're renting out number 1 for about $1,400 a week.
Yep.
You're learning the ropes of rooming because what you've done a course, your mentors helped you, or you're just going, I'm just going to learn this. How's that happen?
I never did any course. I didn't even look at a podcast or anything. Like it just had the idea. I was just looking at 5 bedrooms and I was like, hey, we're 5 minutes from the university. I spoke to the agent. The agent was like, yeah, you'll get $200 a room. And I ended up getting like 70 a room more than that. Like when I bought the first one, there was never a plan of, hey, the second one's going to be just around the corner. It was just like, this is what we're doing. We've done it. And then it was like, it became like, I was like, hey, that was fun. The whole negotiating period, buying it. This is cool. Let's do it again.
Pulling out equity, savings? Yeah. How are you doing this?
Mix of both. So 12 months later, probably 60% equity, 40% savings for the next purchase. So I bought a place in Charlestown in Newcastle, probably 15 max to the CBD, 10 minutes to the beach.
Okay.
It's like the capital of Lake Macquarie, which is Newcastle. Lake Macquarie kind of makes up Greater Newcastle. It's 5-minute walk to the largest shopping centre in Newcastle. Great location.
How much are you paying for it?
$862 $500. Always got to put a 500 at the back when you buy property. I don't know why. It's just something that I like to do.
And what do you reckon it's worth now?
So I purchased that last year, September, probably mid-9s.
Mid-9s. Okay.
Yeah, so it's done quite well. Performed quite well over the last, 10 months.
All right, man. And this one is renting out for how much?
$21.45.
You know that's nuts, right?
Yeah. You know, if you're looking at property investing, getting that amount of rent, which is like, I think it's 13% yield, 14%.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Is absolutely crazy. Like the properties are harder to come by. It's not just like, hey, I can't go on realestate.com and go pick 5 of those out in Newcastle today.
Both 5-bedders?
Yes. So Charlestown's a 5, but it's got a studio underneath.
Got it. Okay. So you get 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as managing it, I want you to walk me through what are maybe like the 3 of the biggest pros and 3 of the biggest cons, because one of the things you do differently that I want to unpack, and I'm assuming is going to be one of your pros, is borrowing. Because a lot of the time borrowing is just like, yeah, you might have $2,000 a week coming in, but the bank's like, we don't care. That'd normally rent for $700 a week. So that's how we're going to assess it. You got something a little bit different.
Yeah. So a key thing is like, number 1, I didn't do this until property 2. So when I bought property 1, it was just based off the standard yield that banks assess when going for the loan. When I went to property 2, that's when I found a good mortgage broker. And it was like, hey, can we find a lender that's going to allow this? So none of your big banks like to dip their toes in it. The bank that I'm with, you're getting, I think I'm on 5.89% interest at the moment, which isn't, that's good. That's a good rate. It's not like I'm paying 1% over on what I'm getting. So I found a lender that likes it with the lending, making sure everything's on one lease agreement. So you
got a head lease.
Head lease, yeah. So in New South Wales, they're called standard residency tenancy agreements. They have like slots for up to like 6 or 7 tenant names and you can also add more if you need to. So running it all on one lease agreement and making sure it's a tenancy agreement, because some people get mixed up between rooming houses and share houses and like boarding houses. Boarding houses is like a whole nother thing.
That's when there's like 20, 30.
Like some of them have up to 50 people. Then you have to get them registered. And I'm not the person to sort of talk to about that. I've got no really idea about it. But
Squid Games without the violence.
So it's mainly just keeping them 5 and then, Charlestown 6, but running it all like that, making sure you're doing all the condition reports and everything like that. So if someone's moving in and out, they're getting updated all the time. I love the platform called Rent Better.
Rent Better, yep.
You heard of those guys?
I have.
Absolutely awesome. They do like a discount as well if you're doing like a rooming house. Since they're like a relatively new startup, you can message them and be like, hey, please add this feature. They were like, sure, let's do it.
Love it.
Which is awesome. So I think the biggest pro for me about self-managing these assets, because it's like they're mine, I take a lot more care about how long the vacancies are. If you're just a property manager, like on share houses, they're big in Newcastle. They're like 2 major companies that do it, big duopoly on like managing them. There's heaps of them because there's like 40,000 students at Newcastle University. They charge like 10, 11%.
How much time are you putting in though? Because like, I know you're going to be saving a lot of money, but is this taking you like 20 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 5? Like what are you talking?
Now with the Rent Better platform, it's like 2 hours. So I save, I think it's about $250 a week on property management. So 2 hours, my hour.
So you're basically a whole room.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And my current hour is not worth more than 125. So therefore, until my hour is worth that, I'm going to keep doing it.
That is the most logical way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So as far as the skill sets to actually manage this, is a lot of this coming from managing staff and like you're finding like, okay, I've kind of got a background in this already? Like, or do you think, no, anyone could probably step in and do this?
Management's my favorite thing. I love managing people, managing money, managing assets. Management is like, I love it. And up until probably like 6 months ago, I always used to get my dad to like read over my emails because I wanted feedback on like, hey, is this professional enough? How should I put this? Making sure it's clear and concise. Now we have ChatGPT, so it's, sorry, Dad, but back burner with the email writing because ChatGPT will get back to me in about 30 seconds to make sure my email is saying what I'd like it to say.
Yep.
Yeah, self-managing is that I can, for example, last week, Saturday, someone moved out. Hey, you're out at 10, next person's in at 2. Don't have a day's vacancy because a lot of people look at that with share house and say, hey, you're going to have so much vacancy. Yes, there's high tenant turnover, but by self-managing it, I ensure that when someone gives their 4 weeks notice, that in that 4 weeks time, someone's moving in 2 hours after they move out.
That is insane. Holy crap. Okay. So you're on the ball with this. You're getting, I guess, updates from Dad to begin with on how things can be done better. You're constantly refining things. Management is something that you're actually really passionate about and want to get better at. So you're then putting this skill to work for your portfolio. You're finding a broker that actually allows you to get lending that actually gets this amazing yield looked at and considered by a lender, opposed to them just going, we don't care. We're just going to use the standard yield. Where's next? Because I know we've got to wrap things up in a second, man. If you and I were to sit down 5 years from now, what's the goal?
I think it's just to build a large property portfolio.
What's large?
I'm just going to keep going as much as I can keep going. And it's not necessarily, hey, I want to be a gazillionaire. This quote isn't mine. Money doesn't make you happy, but it gives you the resources to remove the things you hate.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
I think if I can build a property portfolio, I'm probably still going to work for 20, 30 plus years because I love it. When I have free time, I can spend it how I would like to.
I want to talk more about how you're like 50 years old in your head, but 21 years old on the outside, mate. But
I get told that all the time. I get friends, they're like, oh, you're a grandpa. Why are you going to bed at 9 o'clock and doing all this? And it's like, in 10 years, you're going to come back and say, why didn't I listen to you?
100%, man. And that will genuinely happen.
And I think where I've gotten the whole property thing on before is if I ask someone who's 40, 50, 60, do you regret not going to the club and getting drunk enough? No one's ever going to say, hey, I wish I went out clubbing more. They say, I wish I bought my property, or I wish I invested when I was younger. I wish I put money aside and built myself early and I would be living a completely different lifestyle now. And it's like, well, if all these people have lived through that and telling you that day to day, why not just do it?
It's so true, man. And if you're listening to that now and you're thinking, oh, okay, well, it's easier for Luca. He's 21 years old. He's got the whole life ahead of him. And maybe you're in your 30s, 40s, whatever. 10 years from now is going to happen. And it's easy to say 10 years ago, I should have done that, or 20 years ago, I should have done that. In 10, 20 years time, like 10 years ago, 20 years ago is now. And you've got total control over now. The fact that you're looking at it that way already, the thing that I love about it is it's not it's something you're born with. It's not a like, oh, okay, but I can't do that. I can't afford it. That's a mind shift all of us have the capacity to actually do. And I want to start wrapping things up with an action step, first of all, and then obviously we're ending things with the last question. But if someone's going to pull out the headphones today and go, let's get into it, what's your action step for them?
Look, I think it's just discipline. Someone can listen to what we just talked about for the past hour and say, I'm super motivated, I'm going to do it. but actually sticking to it is what you need to do. It's 1% idea, but it's 99% persistence and just doing it, having the discipline, getting up every morning to doing it. Yeah, you can have times where you're not performing 100% on your best day, or you take a holiday, you need a break. Focus on that core goal and holding yourself accountable to that.
Man, you are so right. It's all of the wonderful ideas, the education, the everything. It means nothing if you don't consistently work at it. And again, man, it's actionable. You don't need to have an IQ of 150 to be able to do this, but you do need to be consistent and you do need to put in the work. But Luca, I'm so happy you and I have had a chat today, man. And I've got a feeling it's possibly not going to be the last time. I know that you're going to be doing big things in this industry, mate, but I do need to ask you arguably the most important question of the entire show. Luca Surman, what is your favorite pizza?
Back when I was working in the Italian restaurant,
yeah,
a potato pizza was like awesome.
The restaurant we will not name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, a potato pizza, but if I'm going to Domino's, chicken, bacon, and camembert.
Chicken, bacon, that's Bianca's favorite. Chicken, bacon, and camembert. Now, potato pizza, just quickly on this, like, you ever made one at home?
Yeah, I've made them at home, yeah.
I've tried. I find it really hard because it's like, it's such a simple thing, but if you get it wrong, you've just got this kind of smushed potato on dough, and it's like,
yeah.
What is this, a chip? Is this pizza? What's going on?
It's got to like thinly slice it. Get like a mandolin, like the slices that do it like super thin and just like potato through that and just get them super thin, a bit of garlic, oil, rosemary. See,
this is the Italian restaurant coming out in you then. So I was using a knife. Okay.
Yeah. No, need the slicer, nice and thin.
Yeah. Got it. Man, Luca Surman, I'm so impressed by you, mate. I think you're absolute proof that it can be done, that anything is possible when you put your mind to it, that if you've got support around you as well, lean on it. Show them you're serious, because not everyone has a mum and dad the same way that you do. And there's absolutely an element of privilege to that. However, you could have chosen to just sit there and play PlayStation and no one would have thought any different of you. You would have just been a normal kid, but you didn't. And it's absolutely paying dividends for you. You're looking outside the box thinking, how can I earn even more money with this? Because it's not as good a return as what I think it can be. You're looking at buying mattress stores as a teenager. Like, everything about you, man, is just awesome. And I think even if you guys take one thing from this episode, whether it's work ethic, persistence, whether it's just always looking for the thing that's actually going to help you move forward, there are so many little takeaways hidden in this story, which it sounds like it's a story we've just read out of a book, but it's not. It's Luca's life. And mate, now I feel like that. Actually, you wouldn't remember that TV show, This Is Your Life, and they like hand you a book. No?
I think too young for that, yeah.
Anyway, man, Luca Surman, thank you so much for joining me today, man. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks for having me, Todd. It's been awesome.